And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a nice comment.
Oh, hey
If the comments
and
are
today,
read
if you
about
hear
that.
a loud thumping
Also,
sound,
check
I am
out
so
my
sorry.
podcast
That
called
is my
Salt
daughter
Under
running
the Sea
around
with me,
because she has
Susan,
all
and
summer
Naomi
off.
Hagen.
I need
And
to
my
find
Gummy
more
Bear
stuff for her to do.
podcast.
Today we're
and
going to talk about the
as well,
submarine.
or my A-cast.
And
I will
unfortunately,
leave the links below. Check out my books.
I don't know
as well,
much about
which I
it, so
will
let me
leave
give you
in
my
the links
opinion
below.
before I read about it and then
And
give you
have
my
a
opinion
great and
after.
wonderful day. And I hope
What
you
I know so
enjoy
far
and have
is a
fun
bunch of people
watching my
decided
videos.
to
And check
take
out
a
my
submarine
Patreon,
to go see the
where
Titanic
sometimes
in
if
a
I
deep,
can't
deep
review
water.
the products in this
That's not
videos,
smart to
I
me.
do it over there.
They also
I do
apparently took a
lot of
video
vlogs
game
and a
controller to
lot of
control
true crime
the
videos.
submarine, and
So I hope
only
y'all
way
enjoy.
out
And
of
yes,
the
I bought
submarine
this at the
is
docks.
literally through the outside, which is
Very
also very silly to me.
And don't forget to
But one
check out
thing
my
that
Facebook
really
and
gets
my
me is stop naming the
online
things
store.
T. I don't know if I ever had a boat or a submarine, ever had enough money for a yacht, anything whatsoever like that. T would not be something I would use anymore. Titanic, Titan, the other one with the T, no, I'm good. I'm not naming anything T for boats. Apparently T is cursed. The letter T is cursed. Do not do it. That's just me being a little weird, but... So let's get to it. I found what to know about the 5 passengers on the missing Titanic sub. Now, from what I remember, there was no woman on board. Which reminds me that I would literally go dolphin, swimming with dolphins, sky jumping off of a bridge before I decide to take something to the Titanic all the way under the sea with people who don't have, like, it's a submarine controlled by a video game controller. Just, no. And I don't even jump off bridges. I don't even do any of that. No. I'm a very, very boring person for my age. I'm literally giving myself a year to do, and maybe I'll do a video on it, what to do before you hit 30 that you should have done in your 20s. Because if you remember, and I mentioned this, I was a teen mom, and I'm handicapped, physically and mentally. Things that I got to do in my 20s compared to what other people did, not the same. My stepdad did a lot in his 20s compared to me. I barely have done anything, and I'm almost 30. One of the things is literally go do something by myself. No family, no friends, no significant other, just go do something by myself. Which might be a movie. Get drunk, like actually drunk. I've gotten a buzz once, and that was a terrible idea. If there's anything you suggest, please. I don't know, I've been gambling once. Maybe I'll go gamble one more time before I hit 30. Go to an actual club. I've never been to a club. I'm so boring. But anyway, to me this whole thing is just silly. And I hope that we find these people alive and well, and I hope they're okay. And also, never give them, like, never ever do this again. Just saying, like, don't do it again. Okay, let's just start. As their search and rescue mission continues for a private submarine that went missing while on an excursion to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. 1. Why would you go do that? The Titanic... No, just no. So many reasons. The Titanic sunk. It's deep underwater by now. I'm pretty sure we've seen everything they could have given us by now of the Titanic, because there's been a lot of people who've done that in real life. 2, I don't know if anyone from the Titanic's family is still alive, but do we have to judge this up every year? More information is merging, but also 3, hopefully we learned something from it. Like, make sure you have enough lifeboats, make sure you, just because it says unsinkable doesn't mean it is. Make sure that, learn. Let's learn from our mistakes instead of repeat some. Information is merging about its 5 passengers. The passengers aboard the vessel are British businessman Hamish Harding, Anastake businessman Swaj Dewood, and his teenage son Solman, French explorer Paul, and Gaton Rush, the CEO of Ocean Gate, the company that operates the submarine. I can't say the whole name because I could never say it. Subgate billed the trip as an opportunity to become one of the few to see Titanic with their own eyes. Searching a seat on the vessel cost $250,000. Boy, you better be giving back those people money. You almost killed them. According to the company, which lists the trip not as more tourists, but as a dive with a scientific purpose. Last year, Rush told CBS News that the tourist attraction people of all income levels, despite the high sticker price, we'd have people who have mortgaged their home to come and do the trip, and we have people who don't think twice about a trip of this cost, he said. The ones who mortgage should know better, no. And you should be, no. So many no's. In a June 17th Facebook post, Harding announced he was proud to be joining the exploration, whatever it's called. The team on the sub has a couple of legendary explorers, some of which have done over 30 dives to RMS Titanic since the 1980s, including PH, he noted. Here's what to know about the passengers on the vessel. Hamish Harding, chairman of Activation. Harding is the chairman of a company called Action, which sells aircrafts to Fortune 100 companies, international corporations, heads of state, and people in the entertainment and sports industries, according to its websites. The British businessman is referred to as a billionaire in the British press, but Forbes magazine noted that he's not included on its list of the world's richest people. Okay, so this is going to sound a little offensive, and I'm sorry. And I hope these people are safe and sound, and I hope and whatever they believe, they find them. He's a white dude. Okay. Aside from his business, Harding knows for his explore as an adventurer. He holds several records with the Guinness Book of World Records, including fastest circumvallation of Earth via both the graphic poles by airplane, which he and a team accomplished in 2019 in a little over 46 hours. So he's one of those daredevil people who would eventually... I'm not very good with these type of people. I would be like, I'm gonna dip. I know I'm boring, but I'm not that crazy. Maybe do something a little fun, but not that crazy. Harding was one of 6 people on Jeff owned Blue Origin mission last June, when they flew to the edge of space. Before the Titanic exploration, Harding shared on Facebook that the mission was likely to be the first and only manned mission to the Titanic in 2023 because of weather conditions. You think? You're under the sea. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be eaten alive by your freaking... Listen, there's a lot of things under the sea that is really creepy. If you actually look at an oceanology book, I'll be surprised if they survive the submarine somehow. They might be eaten by another animal. Or, like, please tell me you find these people, and please let's hope they're okay. But, man, don't do this again. I think one death experience would put me off. I'm not this type of person. Before the Titanic expert, Harding was also one of 6 people. Yep, I already said that. Titanic expedition. Harding, okay. In an interview 2 years ago, Harding, I'm just calling him Harding, acknowledged the risk and dangers of underwater exploration after he had traveled with U.S. explorer Victor more than 2.5 miles along the floor of the Mediterranean chest, 35,860 feet below the sea surface. The only problem is that there is no other sub that is capable of going down there to rescue you. He said of that journey. Are you... I'm humming to myself because I'd be like, I'm out. There's no other one who can rescue me. There's no way out of this thing. Are you crazy? If you're going to be adventurous, be safe about it. I cannot that yet. No. Okay. Having 4 days of okay. Only problem is that no other sub is able to rescue. He said of their journey. Having 4 days of supplies doesn't make a difference really. If something goes wrong, you are not coming back. In a statement on Tuesday, Action Managed Director Mark said the company and Harding's family are grateful for all the kind messages of concern and support from our family and colleagues. We look forward to welcoming him home. Yes, I hope they come home safe and sound with no injuries, no harm, no PTSD. I hope they're okay. And I hope no one else tries this, because this just is not, oh man. Oh, I'm going to call him D. Wood. 84 is the vice chairman of Daywood Hercules, an investment and holding company based in, I don't know. Another white dude. Great. Is part of D-Wood Group, a family business for more than a century,
Here, we
according
have
to
my
his biography at the SETI Institute,
and short stories.
where he also served
I want
on
to
the
say
board.
helpful.
Deadwood is heir to one of Pakistan's largest family fortunes, according to New York Times.
Sophia is my name.
Deadwood is a resident of the UK with
Sophia
his
is my name, not
wife
Isabella.
and 2 children,
Dottie Smith.
Solomon and
My
daughter
name is Sophia
Ellen. The STI
King. This is my story,
Institute
what
noted
happened
he
to
is
me.
also
It
an
was 1972.
avid
12
animal
Thursday
lover.
around
Oh,
lunchtime.
I do love animals
I,
myself.
Sophia
That's awesome.
Levan King,
And has a
going
master's
home for
degree in
lunch. My
global
mother
textile
made green
marketing
beans, broccoli with
from
cheese,
Philadelphia
turkey.
University in the
We sat at
U.S.
the table,
and a
drank
law
some milk. I
law
remember
degree
this
from
day so well because of what
Buckingham
happened after
University in the UK.
Yes, I say my name a lot for
Well,
a
dang, you
good
are very
reason,
smart, so
which
I get
will
why
see
you got where
why
you
later
are.
in this story. I was a
Solomon
kid, about
Durward
9
is
years
19 years
While
old,
I was
according
eating
to the
lunch with my
UK
mom, it
Daily
started
Mail.
raining.
He
Not
is
too
a
bad.
side
So I finished my meal,
fiction
got back on
fan
my
and
bike.
also
I
enjoys
wish
solving
that I didn't.
a Rubik's
I,
Cube and
Sophia
playing
Levan
volleyball,
King,
according
got
to
my
DH Group
purple
and
bike, headed back to
Ergo
school.
Corporation for our
When I
D-Word
got
Hercules
near
Group.
Dream Lake
We are
Park,
very grateful for the concern
there
being shown
was
by our
this
colleagues and
big
friends
tree
and would
with
like
a
to
spiral
request
living in
everyone to pray for their
Squirrels living in
safety,
it.
the
It
Dewar
all
family
had
said in a statement.
It all
Paul,
happened just
I'm not
came
saying your
to me.
whole name,
I
Paul,
went
you have a way too
it
much.
under the tree because
Your
it was
name is
pouring
way too
rain, thunder and lightning.
Titanic's
Sophia
greatest
Levan
explorer,
Levan King,
Nora
was scared,
Lalage,
but it got worse.
is known as a
These women
Titanic
and men
expert.
came up
According to the
put a
Ocean
plastic
Gate
bag over
website,
my head,
he's
where
led
I
6
couldn't breathe,
explorations
but
to the
not where I
shipwreck
couldn't-
site and is
could
known
die.
as Titanic's
Everything
greatest explorer, the
pitch
company
black.
said.
The only thing I remember
Okay, I
was the
could see why
sound
you
of the
could
car
feel
moving.
safe
When
with
I
him
woke
on
up,
board,
I was in
but
a
a sub
big
with no
attic.
way
It
out
had
and no
a
one to reach
baby
you is still a
crib
little
big enough
dangerous.
for
But I
me
could
to
see why
fit
someone
in.
would be like, yeah, I feel safe with him.
Alone
He's
with
also
a
the
shared
director of the
cloth.
underwater research for
They had doll clothing for me to
RMS
wear,
Titanic,
but only food
an
was
American
baby
company that
food,
owns
formula,
the
they had
salvage
doll
rights
wigs,
to the wreckage
blonde with
and
curls,
operates
bright
expeditions
red, long
featuring
wig.
air
My
facts
hair
from
is
the
light
ship.
brown. The woman
About 30
name
million
is
people
Grace
have
and the man
visited
is Jack.
its
They named
experts,
me
according to the
Isabella
company.
Dottie Smith.
In an
Jack
interview with
asked
CBS
Grace to dress
News,
me up. She put me in
G.
a blonde,
Michael Harris,
curly
founder
wig
of
with a red dress
RMS
with white
Titanic
polka dots.
Inc.
Then
said
Jack Smith
Tuesday
picked me
that
up
he has
and put
worked
me
with
in a high
neurologists for
chair.
the past 30
Grace
years,
started
describing
feeding
him
me
as
baby
all
peas.
around
I,
good guy.
Sophia Levan King, did not like this baby food.
Duncan
My name
Rush,
was not okay
CEO
with
of
me.
Ocean
After
Gate.
these
So we
10
just let a bunch
the
of
peas,
billionaires
baby
go
food.
underwater
Grace put me in a
without
big crib for a
that
nap.
many people who
I
know
am
what they're doing.
beginning to wonder if they
Okay.
are crazy. So
cool, I
bit
guess.
her
I feel
hand
bad
because
because
I
like
didn't want to treat
these
her
aren't
like
billionaires
a
who
baby.
work their booties
Dude,
off, and
I
now
didn't want to be treated like a baby. When Grace screamed, Jack came in.
if I had that kind of
and asked
money,
what
I don't know if I'd be
happened.
wasting
She
it on a
told him
museum
I better
excursions. Maybe
him
I'd go
got
see a
red in the
museum or
face.
talk
Jack
to
was
the guy
very mad.
in
So
person.
he took me to another room
Going,
where
I
they
don't know.
had
It'd be cool to
bucks
see it, but
with
in
chains.
person, I
He
don't
got a
know.
chance
It
and
just
used
seems
it
like
on my
a dangerous
back
situation.
6 times.
Rich, the
Next
CEO of company
time
running
you get
the
beat by
exploration, is
Grace, it'll
also the
be
pilot of the
even
missing
worse than
Titan
this. I was bleeding all over. Grace came in.
Bender,
She
when
took
he
me
was
to the
19,
bathroom.
Rush was
She
the youngest
pulled my
person to
dress
become a
down,
jet
used a cloth to wipe the
transported
blood off. She
rated
said that biting someone
rated
is
pilot
not
when
okay.
he
That her
earns a
hand
DC-8
was hurt.
type
But
captain
no blood
at the
was drawn.
United Airlines
Grace
Jet
then
Training
said that
Institute,
Jack can
according
be
to his
mean and
bibliography
protective. I must not do that
Ocean
again.
Gate.
After she was done
Rush
wiping
earned
the
a
blood,
bachelor's
she
degree
pulled the
in
dress
aerospace
back up
engineering
and took
from
me back to the baby doll room,
Princeton
as she
University
called
in
it.
1984
Now, will you
and an
please
MBA
take a
from
nap
Buckley
like I asked, or do I
Pass
need
of
to get Jack
School
to
of
do
Business
it?
in
I thought about
1989.
saying sure,
In
go get it,
2009,
but
Rush
I
found
didn't want
Ocean
to be
Gate, where
whipped with
he
chains
oversees the company's
again right now.
financial and
So I got in the
engineering
big room,
strategies
closed my
according
eyes.
to
At
the
first I
company.
was
Rush told CBS
lashing to my
News
sur-
David last year that
listening
Ocean
to
Gate
my
still
surroundings.
hadn't
Sadly, there
turned a
was not
profit.
much.
People
It
might
was
say,
far from
hey,
others.
that's a
No
lot
kids
of money.
playing
$25,000, but
no
we
people
went
talking. You
through
could hear a
over $1 million of gas, he said.
Needle
Here's my biggest thing with
drop.
this.
It was okay.
One,
I was
you have a
trying
bunch
to
of
think
rich,
ways
smart
to get
people.
out.
Two, how did
Without
you not think to put
being
something in the submarine
caught by
that
Jack
would
and
have
Grace.
saved
It
you?
seems like this was going to be
Like,
harder
y'all are
than
rich
I
and y'all
thought.
are
Plus,
smart.
they had a
None of you
keypad
seem like you're
and locks on the
disabled
door
of
to the
any
baby
kind.
room.
And yet,
So it had
here we are. And you
It
only
would-
have like
so it would
a
be
couple
hard for
weeks
me to
worth of
live,
food and
leave.
water? Are you crazy?
I guess they had a feeling that
Okay,
if
the wife of missing Ocean Gate CEO on board
thing like
Titan
this, the
submarine
person might try
is
to
a
leave,
descendant
but
of
you
two
asked
famous
about the windows
Titanic
that are
victims, the
two
New York
small
Times.
ones, and they put bars over them.
The wife
They're
of
too
missing
small for
CEO
anyone
Ocean
to
Gate
really
is the
fit
descendant
through
from
anyway,
two
but
Titan
they have
victims.
this
We will
whole
continue
house
this
covered with
on my
traps.
other podcast. Hope y'all have a
There's
great
even
and
a
wonderful
lock.
day.
Grace
Bye
knew
for now.
this,
And I
that
hope
it
we
seemed
all,
like I was a witch.
they
She brought
all
me a
have a
pink
safe
baby bottle.
return.
It had more than just
And let's
formula in
not
it.
try to do this
Some
again
type
right
of
away.
medication to
Maybe
put you to sleep in it. I
find
knew this
some
because after she forced me to drink it,
safety
I
protocols
I never
to
take
do
naps,
before
but at this point, I was
the
dreaming about
next
having Taco Tuesday with my
excursion,
mom.
please.
She would make everything
And let's all
from
learn
scratch.
something from
The
this.
sides
Bye
would
for
be
now, and
mixed
welcome.
with
I am your
vegetables,
host, the
muffins
season
for
anime. Okay,
afterwards.
And today
She'd
we
put
are
the
going to
Jack
talk
cup
about the
on the
wife
table
of
so
missing
we could eat messy
Ocean
food.
Gate
It was
CEO
fun
on
with
board
the whole
Titan
family.
submarine
laugh
is a
the
descendant of two
whole
famous
would be
Titanic
covered in
victims.
food by the time we
And
were
before
done
we get
with
started,
lunch.
I want to say
Mama's
I hope
happy
that
she
these
made
people
this
are found,
for these
healthy,
types of
alive,
meals.
no
Then we
problems,
all
no
cleaned up
missing
what
parts.
before.
And let's all
Going back to school
maybe
or work for
before
that.
we
Mom
decide
would
to do this
pump
again,
her
maybe
favorite
find a
song
better
while cleaning.
safety precaution.
Did I
I'm just saying, because that's
want
kind of
this
what
not
happened
to
with
be
the
a dream
Titanic. There
instead of
wasn't
what
really
was really
great
going
safety
on?
precaution, and now here we are again in
Kidnap was not
2023.
what I thought I was going
Not the
to
same
happen.
thing, but still, like,
I wanted
let's
to work hard
learn
in school
some
to become
safety
a vet.
precautions here,
Sophie,
please.
Sophie,
Okay, and I don't want to
even
sound
hope
rude or
that
mean.
this
I
year
don't
after
mean to
school,
come
I
off
was
that.
so
It's
happy
just
to
this
have
whole
a
thing
zoo
goes over
now.
my head.
It was close enough.
This is something I would never decide to do, even if I had the money. So, that's just me. But I hope these men or people or whatever they are found alive and well and in one piece.
Amazingly, sadly, I realized
The wife of the missing Ocean Gate CEO is a descendant from two Titanic victims per the New York Times. Wendy Rush is the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Status, a couple who died in 1912. Iris, the CEO of Macy's, and his wife, inspired an iconic scene in James Cameron's Titanic.
I have to get a bath. Fine. A dinner.
The wife of the missing Ocean Gate Stockton Rush is a descendant of two famous Titanic victims. The New York Times reports on Wednesday, citing archaeological records. Wednesday, Rush is a great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Status, a wealthy, elderly couple who died when the ocean line sank in 1912. Isidore was the co-owner of the department store Macy's. Joanne Elder, the executive director of the Stratus Historical Society, told the Times that Wendy was related to one of Stratus's daughters on her father's side. Wendy married Stockton in July 1986 per a wedding announcement in the Times. She's the director of communications at OceanGate and an extended team member, according to her LinkedIn page. However, she is not named on the OceanGate exploration team page that insider accessed using the Wayback Machine. Their great-grandson, Paul A. Kruzman, told the Today Show in 2017 that Isidore and Ida Stratus were first-class passengers on the Titanic who chose to die together when the ship started sinking after hitting an iceberg. Jeez, what if you okay? So many things wrong with this. Just so many. Should I just voice my opinion or leave it to myself? And I know you can only hear me, but really, just so many reallys in there. While women and children are giving priority to board the lifeboats, Kruzman said that a ship's officer made an inspection for Isidore because of his age and who he was. And my great-great-grandfather said, "No, until I see that every woman and child on board this ship is in a lifeboat, I will not enter into a lifeboat myself," he told the Today Show. Ida chose to stay behind with her husband, Kruzman added. Kruzman told County Living magazine in 2017 that Ida's maid, Ellen Bird, survived the sinking and witnessed the elder couple's last moments. After Ida handed Bird her coat and said she had no further need for it, the elder couple was swept away by the ocean, Kruzman said. Isidore wrapped his arms around her. Kruzman told County Living magazine that a great wave came over the port side of the ship and swept them both into the sea. That was the last time they were seen alive. The Stratus tragic story inspired an iconic, heartbreaking scene in James' Titanic. An elderly man and woman embrace each other in bed as their room begins to flood. The Times reported in May 1912 that Isidore's remains were recovered after 2 weeks, but his body was never found. The Titan's submarine is still missing, and the oxygen supply on the vessel is dwindling. The U.S. Coast Guard says that the oxygen in the submarine is expected to run out on Thursday afternoon. That's today. As the search goes on, OceanGate, the company behind the Titan submarines and the shipwreck explosion, is under scrutiny for its safety standards. Wendy Rush did not immediately respond to requests for comments sent outside regular business hours. I'm clicking on more of the articles to kind of see what we have going on here, because there's so much about this case that is so confusing. Wow, that is a lot, y'all. A lot. Okay, missing Titanic. Sub maker OceanGate faced allegations about hull safety as early as 2018. A lawsuit claims OceanGate was warned in 2018 about safety issues with its now mission submarine. A former employee claimed he was fired for warning about the sub's lack of physical safety scans. The suit claimed customers would be unaware of safety issues. The case was settled out of court. A former employee of OceanGate, the company whose vessel, I'm just gonna call it submarine, is now missing after diving towards the wreckage of the Titanic. Warned in 2018 that the sub safety could be compromised by poor quality control and safety protocols that paying passengers would not be aware of, a lawsuit says. David, OceanGate's former director and marine operations, alleged in August 2018 court filings he was wrongfully terminated after raising concerns about the company's refusal to conduct critical, non-destructive testing on the experimental design of the Titan, the submarine that went missing Sunday. Oh gosh, that's almost been a week. I hope they're okay and they have enough food and water and they return safe in one piece. The filing says that after the OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush asked Launch L to do a quality inspection of the submarine, L developed grave concern about a lack of non-destructive testing performed on the hull of the Titan. While completing the inspection, Launch said he asked coworkers if anyone had formally scanned the materials being used to secure the vessel from the high-pressure environment. Launcher said he was told that no such scan had been done. Instead, he said sound-based system would check for flaws in the hull in real time in order to detect issues. L said that while he was met with hostile and denial of access to the necessary documents while completing the inspection report he submitted it on January 18, 2018, the next day, he said he spoke before company leadership, including Rush, Bonnie, Carl, the human resource director, Tony, the engineering director, and Scott, the operation director, and raised his concerns. Launch said he recommended OceanGate volunteers seek out regulation and classification through an agency such as the American Bureau of Shipping, which the filing said inspect and certified submarines with assurance tests and certified industry standard safety controls. But L said that after the meeting he was fired. OceanGate gave L approximately 10 minutes to immediately clear out his desk and exit the premises. A court filing says the paying passengers would not be aware and would not be informed of this experimental design, the lack of non-distinctive testing of the hull, or that horizon flammable materials were beginning to use within the submarine, the filing says. Okay, so if you have a dude who's telling you to look up safety protocols, listen to him. I mean, really. Jeez. This is another reason why the Titanic itself sunk. Because no one listened to the protocol. And back then, there probably wasn't as much. Jeez Louise. It's unclear whether L concerns were ever addressed or whether their scans accurate at a later date. L's allegations were filed as a contest against OceanGate, which had accused him of breach of contract, fraud, and revealing trade secrets. L denied all the charges. The case was settled out of court in November 2018. OceanGate did not respond to a request for comments. An attorney representative L in the 2018 suit said L had no comment, adding, "We pray for everyone's safe return." That's because L knew what they were getting into and L was smart. Really should have listened to L, y'all. But no, you decided not to listen to L. And to the lady whose people are related to the people in the Titanic, are you crazy? I would be a little more cautious about the water. That's just me. I'm very weird and very cautious. Probably more cautious than most. I feel like a grandma. Maybe I'm a little old lady. But I hope these people are safe. And we will talk about the next case in my next podcast. Check that out. Have a great and wonderful day.